And when we reflect on this issue, especially when we reflect at the beginning, having had to distance ourselves or take a step back from someone who does matter to us, at first, even if we want to deceive ourselves, the emotional implication is very strong and deep down. What we wish for is for this person to reconsider and to regret the emotional harm they may have caused us in terms of understanding. That they have lost a great opportunity, and above all, evidently, that they try to make amends and seek us out and want what they didn't want before, right? And now they do value us and want to be with us. But today's video is not about this. That is to say, we are not going to talk about the process they go through. A person who, from a distance, understands what you really meant to them, what role you played in their life, because this happens, but not in all cases. As I always say, zero contact, that is, we can't scratch where there is nothing. That's why when you go into a real zero contact, in search of answers, this is not done from manipulation. I am not trying to provoke a feeling in you that doesn't exist. I just want to realize if what we are experiencing, I am giving it an excessive weight, or in the case that you are not appreciating me, partly because of the way things have happened or how I give myself that there is another clarity within you and that you can become aware and come to find me. What's happening? That not in all cases, as I say, clarity is not always for the other person, as we would like. Sometimes clarity comes to us. But now I speak in other terms. Today's video, if you want, you can even rate it as a bit more childish. And I can guarantee you that in matters of love, many times we all are, even that person who seems so emotionally mature to you, that person who can be responsible in other areas of their life. Believe me, when it comes to love, having dealt with many people, it brings out a more primitive, more childish side than we think. Really, maybe you have that person on a pedestal and you think, wow, this person, right? And I tell you that yes. So, today's video is about these things that definitely affect, annoy, hurt, bother, frustrate that person who didn't value you. Regardless of whether there's an emotional process here, I mean, we're not talking about a sentimental regret of thinking, wow, it hurts me to think that I've hurt you. This is one of the things that can happen when we distance ourselves. But I'm talking about those things that make one think, oh, it annoys me, it bothers me. If I could go back, I would do things differently so I wouldn't have to feel this sensation I'm feeling today. So, is this video about that? About what things will provoke that feeling of anger, annoyance, regret regarding? Well, I even consider that I would like to have another chance until it bothers me not having acted better with people who didn't value us. First, and this one we often don't want to accept, because it seems somewhat cruel to us, doesn't it? But that's how it is. It's seeing yourself well, seeing yourself happy, seeing yourself infinitely happier than you were, or when you were involved with them, whether it was a relationship, something more informal, when you were there suffering because of them. Seeing that you're living your life and that things are going great. That you're smiling, that you're happy, that you're well. I mean, the underlying thought is really the fact of saying, can I be happy without you? That is, I don't need you to be okay. And even it seems that I'm happier without you. I mean, it's not just that I don't need you to be happy. It's that probably the obstacle was you, the problem was you, right? And now you're not. Because this implies many things. Obviously, if I'm happy, it must be that you no longer matter to me, right? That you no longer have that power over me to make me feel sad. And there's a part of us that, even when rejecting someone deep down, is trusting. And I say trusting instead of wishing, to not make us sound so despicable. But there's a part of our ego that wants the other person to be doing poorly, that wants the other person to not manage without us. Not that we want them to do terribly, but that they can't get over it so easily. Knowing that this person is there dealing with the feeling, struggling to move forward, believing that without us, their life has lost a bit of color. And this is pure ego. That is to say, the person doesn't do it perhaps with the cruelty or malice of wanting you to have a hard time, but with the feeling it gives them to believe they have that importance, that they mark that before and after in your life, which won't be so easy to replace. Someone who impacts you like that because this person thinks in terms of boosting themselves, of feeling, wow, it's like, look at me. If I have them so captivated, I am someone who is worth it. I am such a person. So when one day they see that you're doing great, that you're truly happy, that you're fulfilled, that you no longer need them, that you've turned the page, this really bothers someone who didn't know how to value you. Another thing that really messes with the psyche of someone who didn't value you, and I can tell you from experience that it annoys them a lot, is that if you have the opportunity, don't provoke this. Because if you deliberately go to find this person to bring this up, then no. Then the intention is obvious and it completely loses its effect. But if you have the opportunity later on, because you somehow maintain contact with this person, or it's a social circle, or there's a friendship, or you act like, well, it's over, it's in the past, and you bring up the topic once in a while, when you make this person see that you agree with them, perhaps, that it wasn't that significant, that it wasn't that important, that it's really like, wow, like, or do you make them see, actually, I'm glad you didn't pay attention to me, because now I understand that we wouldn't have gotten very far, right? Or I realize that deep down, indeed, you're not compatible with me. I don't see you as the right person for me. This? Wow. This has some of the most powerful effects, really. But as I say, please don't go now and send a message to the person saying, thinking, I realized I'm glad we're not together, because then it becomes obvious and the opposite happens. I mean, you achieve the opposite effect. I'm only saying if the occasion arises, which sometimes happens, right? Because this person has that concept, indeed, that although maybe they had to understand that this couldn't be because they didn't see the potential, it was very clear that you did see it, right? That you did consider this person as the perfect partner, and that, as we explained before, for a long time it's still going to be hard for you to deal with. And you will compare and you will meet other people, right? So again, the ego can't stand it. When you let it drop calmly, but without anger, without bitterness, and without emphasizing it too much. That is to say, it's not about making a deep reflection where you give a bunch of arguments about why. Like, no, it's just that I realized. No. I mean, let this drop truly in a way. Very subtle, very veiled, right? Like, hey, so how's it going? And like, what? Hey, well, if maybe you had a very strong closure by saying, hey, now think a bit about what I told you. And it even embarrasses me and I really see it like you do. I don't know why I made up such a story, right? Or really, indeed, we're better off as friends. It doesn't seem like anything else should happen between us. The more casual, the more veiled, and more like as if you were acknowledging that at the time you considered this person the most. A period of mental generation. It didn't give me a flow, not implying a bit, but without wanting to offend. I don't know what got into me. I lost my head. And indeed, you're not all that, no, but in a very casual way, as I put it in the example. Let it be, then change the term. This is where I agree with you, because in some way you do that. It's like, I agree with you. We didn't have the potential. We're not made for each other. Not meant for each other. It's not a big deal. I agree with you. If you told me I would be better, I am indeed better without you. This, mentally, is quite destructive for the person who didn't value you. Another thing that really bothers people who didn't value you is that beyond seeing you happy again, which is showing, hey, I can do without you, it's that things are going better for you, that things go better for you in every way. For example, something very superficial, but it is like this, that you get in shape. For instance, when you were with them, well, many times it happens that when we are so upset because of someone, obviously, just like when I'm happy, It shows, right? Well, when I'm down, emotionally, there comes a point where I neither look good, see, nor do I feel like taking care of myself because I'm feeling bad. And then, if suddenly you start taking care of your health again, right? You start doing sports again, or you start doing sports. If you weren't doing them before, even if it's just to help you overcome this, you start taking care of yourself. And taking care of yourself is like everything. The more you take care of yourself, the more you feel like doing it, right? If I go out for a run or something like that now, I feel like choosing my clothes more carefully or going shopping for clothes new. And I'm going to go to the hairdresser. This is like a circle once you get in, you feel like doing it more and more. So if you see this person taking better care of themselves, looking better, and also evidently in other areas of your life. If, for example, now you feel encouraged to study something new, or try to get a promotion at work, or simply learn a new skill, whatever it may be, let this person see that you are moving and progressing and have the feeling in the end. And to put it bluntly, what is it? Because this thought, let's admit it, is ego-driven and childish. And it's based on an idea as basic as, why? When I had you, you had these features or these qualities or this appearance. And now that I no longer have you, now that it seems you're no longer interested, do you seem better? I mean, it makes me angry that when I had you, let's score it in a childish way, you seem to be worth a 5. And now that you're not with me and out of my reach, you seem like an 8. It frustrates me. Well, this, as I say, is childish. There will be people who won't want to admit it. But I repeat, when we scratch the surface a bit, even though we may be mature in many areas, the sentimental side still pulls a lot from our more childlike side, from very basic things. And it bothers. It bothers to see that something I had and no longer have seems better than it was when I had it. Another thing that bothers, and bothers a lot, even if we were the ones who declined something more, and this is often used by people, manipulative and with bad intentions, precisely once, for example, a narcissist. When they discard you, they use this a lot to kick you when you're down because they know it's very effective. Is to show that you grant to another or are willing to do for another what you were not willing to do for them. That's how it is. That is to say, let's take, for example, that, I don't know, that this person liked a lot to go out to eat, and you explain to them, look, it's just that right now I'm saving because I have this thing, because I need to save this. And now suddenly they see that with another person you go and you do it. Or I don't like dancing. Look, I'm a person who just doesn't like it. It's not my thing. It embarrasses me. And now they see that you go to a bachata class with someone else, or that you're at a party and you're dancing. You upload a video dancing with someone, right? Or I hate the beach because I've never liked the beach. And with another person you go to the beach and you hated the sun, and it turns out that now the sun doesn't bother you anymore. That you sit there at 2 p.m. to sunbathe. All of that is annoying. Even, obviously, in the case of the manipulative person, it is really twisted and cruel because we are talking about someone we are aware of who has the feeling, yes, that they wanted everything with us and we denied it to them. And on top of that, we want them to see that we give it to someone else. This is cruel. The effect it has on someone who did not value us, who did not choose us, is not that devastating. Nor is it what you should seek to provoke in the other. But anything that you, with this person, for whatever reason, did not want, could not at that moment, or did not see yourself doing, if they see you doing it with someone else, this annoys quite a lot. Another one, and this one we won't always be able to use. But in most cases, yes, and it is not being available to the extent that the other person wants. That is to say, many times a person does not value us, but they do. Trust. Because it is usually like this, that they can roam freely in our life. That is to say, if I decline that I want a relationship with you because I don't value you for that, or I don't want what you want, or I treat you in a way that is not right, Even so, I trust. In that, I will be able to, well, use you to put a name to it to the extent that I want. That is to say, if tomorrow I do feel like having an intimate encounter, it's likely that you will agree, in the hope that familiarity breeds affection. Or if I want to keep someone to lean on and to whom I can tell things and count on, as I say. That is to say, they still want your door to be open in some way, even though they are not passing through it. They want to know that your door remains open. So when they see that it's not, that is when you show this person that no, they can no longer have you to the extent they want. That if they call you one day because they want to mess with your head, because they want your support, well, that day you're not available. And maybe you return the call 2 days later. Or maybe they start telling you something and you say, look, sorry, but I have this plan, I have this thing, I can't right now. I'll call you or I'll let you know. That is, or they suggest, hey, let's meet up and have a drink. You say, oh, I would love to. I can't. I already have plans. Yes, I already have plans. There's another person involved. Obviously, if you let it slip, that this lack of attention towards them is because the attention is being given to someone new, it bothers them even more. That's how it is. We could even include the other one. Obviously, anyone who hasn't valued you, it bothers them to see that someone else will come along who does value you. If you then have a partner or go on a date again, it bothers them. That's just how it is. I repeat, we are a bit more childish. That's how it is. We truly want, and I understand, right? From a romantic perspective, what should hurt that person is, as I said at the beginning of the video, the harm they may have caused us, not having taken advantage of the potential, but in the end, in practice, isn't that what bothers them? It touches the ego. Anything that touches the ego is easy. It bothers anyone, whether they feel it or not. And it's that. It's seeing you well. It's seeing that you don't need them. It's knowing that even when you think about it, you don't hold on to the idea that you lost your great opportunity. No, I give you the reason it wasn't that big of a deal. Seeing that you improve, that you advance, and that someone else takes advantage of those improvements, or that you're simply willing to do something for another person that you wouldn't for them. All of that bothers a lot. We are so really hitting someone's ego who didn't know how to value you. It's not that complicated to make someone who didn't know how to value you look at you and think. It's not that complicated, obviously. If you can't do it while you're down, sad, appealing only to sentimentality, believing that you have to stay static, so that this person, in case they want to come back, can leave the door open to come in and use you as they wish. In case, like that, the friction leads. Not that, then no, of course, because it's impossible. It's not going to bother them. As long as you continue being the perennial option, the unconditional one, the one who wants, the one who is always there, to the extent that this person wants, the one who doesn't get over it, the one who has them on a pedestal. There, nothing. The moment you change your mindset and start to realize, as I said, that this person is not so incredible, not so bad. No, it's just that I know, Amanda, that this won't work for this person because they are very mature. And then they do it and fall like flies. They fall right into the trap, really, believe me. Well, here it is. I'm not encouraging you to do it, but I'm telling you it's much simpler than we think. If you liked it and you're not subscribed yet, of course, I invite you to do so, to hit the bell, because I would love for us to see each other again very soon. And until then, as always, I send you a big kiss.